Good evening, dear listeners. Welcome to a brand new exciting week. This is RJ Thrisha, your host, and you are listening to Global Beats GIIS Abu Dhabi radio station. Do you know what's special about this week? World Environment Day falls on the 5th of June, and we at Global Beats are celebrating it all week. We intend to help spread awareness of what is needed to be done to protect our environment. Knowledge is power and information is liberating. It is very important to get your information from reliable sources and not just grab any biased information off the internet, because if your knowledge is based on unreliable information, you will not be considered trustworthy by your friends and acquaintances. So, to tell us about the important happenings around us, here comes our very reliable Advay with current affairs.
Good evening everyone, this is Advay Rajesh on Global Beats with current affairs. International news. European powers have pressed the US and Denmark over reports the two work together to spy on top European politicians, including German Chancellor Angela Merkel. In Asia, most of the currencies were flat against the US dollar, and this could aid the rupee as well. The United Arab Emirates has reaffirmed its support for all regional and international efforts to accelerate the Middle East peace process based on the two-state solution and the establishment of independent Palestinian state according to the 1967 borders with East Jerusalem as its border. India will play a crucial role in ensuring availability of the COVID-19 vaccine, said an Indian envoy in the UAE during a virtual healthcare conference. China reports first human case of H1N3 bird flu. No other cases of human infection with H1N3 have been previously reported. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to chair meeting regarding Class 12 board exams. Government sources said that Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be briefed on all possible options that have emerged following extensive discussions with all states and other stakeholders over the Class 12 board exams. Moving on to UAE news. Abu Dhabi's move to remove quarantine on international arrivals from July could turn out to be the boost that the Emirates' tourism and aviation sectors were seeking. 6-day holidays. UAE residents are likely to have a 6-day long break next month on the eve of Eid al-Adha. Massive fire breaks out on a busy street of Sharjah. Residents evacuated. No casualties were reported in this incident. BLS International, the outsourcing agency for processing Indian passports and visas, has relocated to a new facility in Abu Dhabi. The center has relocated to Shams Boutique Mall, Al Reem Island. Sports news. Australia's softball team on Tuesday became the first athletes to land in Japan for the Olympics, in a major milestone for the pandemic-postponed games, which continues to face controversy. New Zealand in great place to create history. Trent Bolt on WTC final versus India. The World Test Championship finally is scheduled to be held on Southampton from June 18 to 22. Moving on to GIIS news. Voting for the GIIS Abu Dhabi Student Council 2020 to 2022 held on 30th May 2021. Council members will be elected by 5th of June. GIIS Abu Dhabi campus won first runner-up trophy for inter-school monologue competition. 15 schools, nearly 30 participants in each category. These factors didn't stop our prowess in realistic enactments. Congrats to our brilliant performance. We are proud of your achievement. Thanks for listening. Stay tuned with the Global Beats for more infotainments. This is Advi signing out. Bye.
Thank you, Advay. That was a good collection of updates from around the world. I feel so well informed. This morning, I woke up to the chirping of birds that live on the tree right in front of my house. I went to my window. The refreshing chirps got louder, and even though I couldn't see the birds, I knew they were there, happy, safe, and protected in their lush green tree. A gentle breeze blew. I could smell the freshness in the air that reached me through the trees. If only it was this fresh and clean everywhere, because a green and clean atmosphere is necessary to live a peaceful and healthy life. The World Environment Day raises awareness about environmental issues like global warming, marine pollution, protection of wildlife, and sustainable consumption. Let's call upon Jaden to enlighten us about the history of the World Environment Day.
Good evening, everyone. This is Jaden, and you're listening to Global Beats, GIS Abu Dhabi's radio station. I will be talking to you about the history of World Environment Day. Every year, World Environment Day is observed on June 5th. This day is celebrated to encourage awareness and environmental protection. According to the United Nations, the celebration of this day provides us with an opportunity to broaden the basis for an enlightened opinion and responsible conduct by individuals, enterprises, and communities in preserving and enhancing the environment. The day was first observed in 1974 in the city of Spokane in the USA. In 1972, the United Nations General Assembly established the World Environment Day on the first day of the Stockholm Conference on the Human Environment. 2 years later, in 1974, the first World Environment Day was held with the theme Only One Earth. Even though Environment Day celebrations have been held annually since 1974, in 1987, the idea for rotating the center of these activities through selecting different host countries began. World Environment Day is celebrated by engaging governments, businesses, celebrities, and citizens to focus their efforts on a pressing environmental issue. I hope all of you have understood much more about the history of the World Environment Day today. So this is Jaden. Wait a minute, I forgot to tell you something. Today, the GIS Abu Dhabi's Eco Club gives every GIS student to contribute towards a green cause as global citizens. We will be inaugurating the Eco Club on the next Sunday, 6th of June 2021. Join us to be a part of this global and green cause. Posters and flyers regarding the Eco Club's inauguration will be sent to you shortly through your respective class groups. And with that, this is Jaden signing out. Stay safe and good night.
Thank you, Jaden. That was some impressive information. It's now time to sit back and relax while a little nightingale brings a beautiful song to us. I welcome our very melodious Genelia.
Just a girl and she's on fire, hotter than a fantasy, lonely like a highway. She's a living in a world and it's on fire, filling with a slash of free, but you know she can fly away. Oh, she got both feet on the ground and she's burning it down. Oh, of flame, so bright you can burn your eyes. Better look the other way. You can try, but I never forget her name. She's on top of the world, hottest of the hottest girls they are. We got our feet on the ground and we are burning it down. Oh, got our head in the clouds and we are not backing down. This girl is on fire. This girl is on fire. She's walking on fire. This girl is on fire. Everybody stands as she goes by, 'cause they can see the flame is in her eye. Watching lighting up at night. Nobody knows that she's a lonely girl, and is a lonely girl. So she gon' let it burn, baby, burn, baby. This girl is on fire. This girl is on fire. She's walking on fire. This girl is on fire. She's just a girl and she's on fire.
Wow! Thank you, Genelia. That was a superb performance of an absolutely powerful song. Nelson Mandela said, if you talk to a man in a language that he understands, that goes to his head. But if you talk to him in his language, that goes to his heart. So, let's open our hearts and welcome our vivacious Miss Devi Raghavan, who brings to us meaningful poems, beautiful songs and moral stories in the classical language of Malayalam on Linguistic Luminaries. Over to you, Devi ma'am.
സഖ്യസാനുശ്രുതി ചേർത്തു വെച്ച മണിവീണയാണെന്റെ കേരളം. നീലസാഗരമതിന്റെ തന്ത്രിയിലുണർത്തിടുന്നു സ്വരസാന്ത്വനം. സഖ്യസാനുശ്രുതി ചേർത്തു വച്ച മണിവീണയാണെന്റെ കേരളം. നീലസാഗരമതിന്റെ തന്ത്രിയിലുണർത്തിടുന്നു സ്വരസാന്ത്വനം. ഇളകിയാടുന്ന ഹരിതമേഖലയിൽ അലയിടുന്ന കളനിസ്വനം.
മലയാള കവിതയെ ഭാവിയിലേക്ക് കൈപിടിച്ചുയർത്തിയ മനുഷ്യൻ കെ അയ്യപ്പ പണിക്കർ. ആ മഹാകവിയെ പരിചയപ്പെടുത്തിക്കൊണ്ടാണ് മലയാള ഭാഷാ പഠന ക്ലാസ്സിലെ 10ാമത്തെ ആഴ്ച തുടങ്ങിയത്. നീ തന്നെ ജീവിതം സന്ധ്യേ, നീ തന്നെ മരണവും സന്ധ്യേ, നീ തന്നെ ഇരുളുന്നു, നീ തന്നെ മറയുന്നു, നീ തന്നെ സന്ധ്യേ. ചൊല്ലിത്തീരുന്നതിനു മുൻപ് ആസ്വാദകനെ കവിതയുടെ ഭാഗമാക്കി മാറ്റുന്ന ചാരുതയാർന്ന സാഹിത്യത്തിന് അയ്യപ്പപ്പണിക്കരുടെ കവിതകൾ ഉദാഹരണങ്ങളാണ്. ആലപ്പുഴ ജില്ലയിലെ കാവാലത്ത് 1930 സെപ്റ്റംബർ 12 ജനിച്ച ഇദ്ദേഹം കവി, അധ്യാപകൻ, വിമർശകൻ എന്നീ നിലകളിൽ അറിയപ്പെടുന്നു. ഗോത്രയാനം, പൂക്കാതിരിക്കാൻ എനിക്കാവില്ല, ജീവാനന്ദദാസ്, അയ്യപ്പപ്പണിക്കരുടെ ലേഖനങ്ങൾ, കാർട്ടൂൺ കഥകളും മഹാരാജ കഥകളും, പൂച്ചയും ഷേക്സ്പിയറും എന്നിവയാണ് പ്രധാന കൃതികൾ. പൂക്കാതിരിക്കാൻ എനിക്കാവില്ല എന്ന കവിത നമുക്കെല്ലാവർക്കും ഒരുമിച്ച് കേൾക്കാം.
എനിക്കാവതില്ലേ പൂക്കാതിരിക്കാൻ, എനിക്കാവതില്ലേ കണിക്കൊന്നയല്ലേ, വിഷുക്കാലമല്ലേ പൂക്കാതിരിക്കാൻ എനിക്കാവതില്ലേ, വിഷുക്കാലമെത്തിക്കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ ഉറക്കത്തിൽ ഞാൻ ഞെട്ടി ഞെട്ടിത്തരിക്കും, ഇരുൾ തൊപ്പി പൊക്കി പതുക്കെ പ്രഭാതം ചിരിക്കാൻ ശ്രമിക്കും, പുലർച്ചക്കുളിർ കാറ്റു വീശിപ്പറക്കും വിയൽ പക്ഷി ശ്രദ്ധിച്ചു നോക്കും, ഞരമ്പിന്റെ ഉള്ളിൽ തിരക്കാണലുക്കിട്ടമേനിപ്പുളപ്പിന്നു പൂവൊക്കെ എത്തിച്ചൊരുക്കിക്കൊടുക്കാൻ തിടുക്കം തിടുക്കം ഉണങ്ങിക്കരിഞ്ഞെന്നു തോന്നിച്ച കൊമ്പിൻ മുനമ്പിൽ തിളങ്ങുന്നു പൊന്നിൻ പതക്കങ്ങൾ, എൻ താലി നിൻ താലി പൂത്താലിയാടിക്കളിക്കുന്ന കൊമ്പത്തു സമ്പത്തു കൊണ്ടാടി നിൽക്കും കണിക്കൊന്നയല്ലേ, പൂക്കാതിരിക്കാൻ എനിക്കാവതില്ലേ, പൂക്കാതിരിക്കാൻ എനിക്കാവതില്ലേ.
മലയാള ഭാഷാ പഠന ക്ലാസ് 10ാമത്തെ ആഴ്ച എത്തി നിൽക്കുമ്പോൾ നമ്മുടെ കൊച്ചു കൂട്ടുകാർ എത്രമാത്രം കുഞ്ഞു കുഞ്ഞു വാക്കുകൾ പഠിച്ചു എന്ന് നമുക്കൊന്ന് കേട്ടു നോക്കാം. കഴിഞ്ഞ ആഴ്ചകളിൽ പഠിച്ച 48 വാക്കുകളാണ് വൈദർശ് നമ്മളെ പറഞ്ഞു കേൾപ്പിച്ചത്. അതിനുശേഷം പഠിച്ച വാക്കുകൾ ശ്രീബാല പറയുന്നതൊന്ന് കേൾക്കാം.
ദീപം, നദി, കുടം, ലത, കുട, പാടം, അട, ഗദ, വടം, കവി, ആണി, ധനം, പാവാട, അടി, ആടി.
നമ്മുടെ കൊച്ചു കൂട്ടുകാരൊക്കെയും മലയാള പഠന ക്ലാസ്സിൽ പഠിച്ച ഓരോ കാര്യങ്ങളും ടീച്ചർക്ക് അയച്ചു തന്നിരിക്കുകയാണ്. ഇനി നമുക്ക് അലൻ പറയുന്നത് കേൾക്കാം.
ദിവസങ്ങളുടെ പേര്: ഞായർ, തിങ്കൾ, ചൊവ്വ, ബുധൻ, വ്യാഴം, വെള്ളി, ശനി.
അലൻ ആഴ്ചകളുടെ പേര് അയച്ചു തന്നപ്പോൾ നന്ദിക അയച്ചു തന്നതോ മാസങ്ങളുടെ പേരാണ്.
12 മലയാളം മാസങ്ങൾ: ചിങ്ങം, കന്നി, തുലാം, വൃശ്ചികം, ധനു, മകരം, കുംഭം, മീനം, മേടം, ഇടവം, മിഥുനം, കർക്കിടകം.
അടുത്തതായി നമ്മൾ കേൾക്കാൻ പോകുന്നത് നിറങ്ങളെക്കുറിച്ച് ഹൻസിക പറയുന്നതും പഴങ്ങളെക്കുറിച്ച് സഞ്ജിത്ത് പറയുന്നതുമാണ്.
നിറങ്ങൾ: നീല, പച്ച, മഞ്ഞ, ചുവപ്പ്, കറുപ്പ്, വെള്ള, ചാരം, തവിട്ടുനിറം, കിർമീരം, ഊത, പാടലവർണം.
ഞാൻ മലയാളം ക്ലാസ്സിൽ പഠിച്ച പഴങ്ങളുടെ പേരുകൾ: മുന്തിരി, മാതളം നാരങ്ങ, കൈതച്ചക്ക, മാങ്ങ, ചക്ക, പേരയ്ക്ക, വാഴപ്പഴം, അത്തിപ്പഴം, സീതപ്പഴം, തണ്ണിമത്തൻ, വെണ്ണപ്പഴം, മുട്ടപ്പഴം.
ഈ കഴിഞ്ഞ 10 ക്ലാസ്സുകളിലായി നമ്മുടെ കുട്ടികൾ പഠിച്ചു കഴിഞ്ഞ സ്വരാക്ഷരങ്ങളും വ്യഞ്ജനാക്ഷരങ്ങളും അദ്വൈ പറയുന്നതൊന്ന് കേട്ടു നോക്കൂ.
സ്വരാക്ഷരങ്ങൾ: അ, ആ, ഇ, ഈ, ഉ, ഊ, ഹൃ. എ, ഏ, ഐ, ഒ, ഓ, ഔ, അ. വ്യഞ്ജനാക്ഷരങ്ങൾ: ക, ഖ, ഘ, ഘ, ങ. ച, ഛ, ജ, ഝ, ഞ. ട, ഠ, ഡ, ഢ, ണ. ത, ഥ, ദ, ധ, ന. പ, ഫ, ബ, ഭ, മ.
ഇത് മാത്രമല്ല കേട്ടോ, ഇനിയും ഒരുപാട് കാര്യങ്ങൾ, പച്ചക്കറികൾ, മൃഗങ്ങൾ, അങ്ങനെ പലതും മലയാള ഭാഷാ പഠന ക്ലാസ്സിൽ നമ്മുടെ കൊച്ചു കൂട്ടുകാർ പഠിച്ചിട്ടുണ്ട്. ചിലതൊക്കെ ടീച്ചർ അടുത്ത ആഴ്ചയിൽ കേൾപ്പിക്കാനായി മാറ്റിവെച്ചിരിക്കുകയാണ്. എന്റെ പ്രിയപ്പെട്ട കൂട്ടുകാരെല്ലാവരും കഥ കേൾക്കാൻ കാത്തിരിക്കുകയാണെന്ന് ടീച്ചർക്ക് അറിയാം. നമുക്ക് കഥ കേൾക്കാം.
കാക്കയും അരയന്നവും. പണ്ട് ഒരിടത്ത് കരിക്കട്ട പോലെ കറുമ്പനായ ഒരു കാക്ക ജീവിച്ചിരിപ്പുണ്ടായിരുന്നു. കാക്കയ്ക്ക് തന്റെ കൂടിനടുത്തുള്ള തടാകത്തിൽ താമസിക്കുന്ന അരയന്നത്തോട് വലിയ അസൂയായിരുന്നു. കാരണം എന്തെന്നോ, അരയന്നത്തിന് പാലുപോലെ തൂവെള്ള നിറവും തൂവലുകൾ കണ്ടാൽ മഞ്ഞിൽ പൊതിഞ്ഞ പോലെ മനോഹരവുമായിരുന്നു. ഒരു ദിവസം കാക്ക അരയന്നത്തെ പോലെ തൂവെള്ള നിറം കിട്ടാൻ ഒരു സൂത്രം കണ്ടെത്തി. അരയന്നത്തെ പോലെ തടാകത്തിൽ താമസിച്ചാൽ തനിക്കും വെളുത്ത സുന്ദരനാകാമെന്ന് ആ മണ്ടൻ കാക്ക വിശ്വസിച്ചു. അന്ന് തന്നെ കാക്ക കൂടുപേക്ഷിച്ച് തടാകത്തിൽ ചെന്ന് ദിവസം മുഴുവൻ കുളിക്കുകയും അരയന്നത്തെ പോലെ തടാകത്തിലെ ചെടികളെ ആഹാരമാക്കുവാനും തുടങ്ങി. എത്ര കുളിച്ചിട്ടും കാക്കയുടെ കറുത്ത നിറം മാറിയില്ല. മാത്രമല്ല, തടാകത്തിലെ ചെടികളെ മാത്രം ആഹാരമാക്കിയതുകൊണ്ട് ദിവസങ്ങൾ കഴിയും തോറും കാക്ക ക്ഷീണിച്ചവശനായി തീർന്നു. അങ്ങനെ ഒരു ദിവസം കാക്ക ചത്തുപോയി. കുട്ടികളെ, കാക്ക കുളിച്ചാൽ കൊക്കാവില്ല, സ്വഭാവം മാറ്റിയാൽ പ്രകൃതം മാറില്ല.
പുതിയ അക്ഷരങ്ങളും പുതിയ വാക്കുകളും പുതിയ കഥകളുമായി അടുത്ത ആഴ്ച കാണും വരയ്ക്കും എല്ലാ പ്രിയപ്പെട്ട കൊച്ചു കൂട്ടുകാർക്കും ദേവി ടീച്ചറുടെ നമസ്കാരം.
സഖ്യസാനുശ്രുതി ചേർത്തു വെച്ച മണിവീണയാണെന്റെ കേരളം. നീലസാഗരമതിന്റെ തന്ത്രിയിലുണർത്തിടുന്നു സ്വരസാന്ത്വനം.
Thank you so much, Devi ma'am. That was such an enriching session. I enjoyed it just as much as I enjoy your Malayalam classes every Saturday. Thank you for making them so fulfilling. Next on Global Beats, we have Andrea, who will elaborate further on the theme of World Environment Day 2021.
Thank you, Thrisha, and good evening, dear listeners. This is RJ Andrea, and you're listening to Global Beats, GIS Abu Dhabi radio station. World Environment Day is celebrated every year on June 5 to remind humans that they're not alone on this planet. There is a huge biological ecosystem that exists, and human beings survive because of that. World Environment Day is observed by United Nations to encourage worldwide awareness and works toward improving the environment. Additionally, the day is celebrated by millions of people and organizations across the globe to share their experiences, challenges, and solutions. Every year, responsibility is given to a country to host the event and provide a platform to discuss sustainable development goals. Anyone know which country is hosting World Environment Day 2021? Yes, this year the baton is passed to South Asian country Pakistan to host the Environment Day 2021. The theme for this year will be ecosystem restoration, with a special focus on creating a good relationship with nature. Ecosystem restoration means assisting in the recovery of ecosystems that have been degraded or destroyed, as well as conserving the ecosystems that are still intact. Healthier ecosystems with richer biodiversity yield greater benefits such as more fertile soils, bigger yields of timber and fish, and larger stores of greenhouse gases. Restoration can happen in many ways. For example, through actively planting or by removing pressures so that the nature can recover on its own. It is not always possible or desirable to return an ecosystem to its original state. We still need farmland and infrastructure on land that was once forest. For instance, and ecosystems like societies need to adapt to a changing climate. The government of Pakistan plans to expand and restore the country's forests through a 10 billion tree tsunami spread over 5 years. The campaign includes restoring mangroves and forests as well as planting trees in urban settings, including schools, colleges, public parks and green belts. Through the 10 billion tree tsunami, Pakistan is contributing to Bond Challenge, a global effort linked to UN Decade on Ecosystem Restoration. Under the challenge, countries are pledging to bring 350 million hectares of the world's deforested land and degraded land into restoration by 2030. World Environment Day is once a year activity. However, it doesn't mean that we should only pay attention to the environment on that one day. Irrespective of the day, organization, event, country, theme, preserving nature is our responsibility. Bring a change in your lifestyle. See how we can live better with nature and make little alterations in our day-to-day life. Educate other people. This is not a fight we can win alone. Even if we are able to create awareness for a small minority of people, it can create a world of difference. Create awareness among the younger generation. Tell them aspects about nature and the significance of birds, animals, ecology, and even the small insects. Watch movies and documentaries that speak on this subject. In the end, respect biodiversity and nature. Biodiversity plays an important role in offering ecological services that make life livable on Earth. Start today to save tomorrow. There should be no tomorrow in taking steps to save the Earth. Earth provides us with everything that we need, and therefore we must take care of it with all our efforts. Wishing a very happy World Environment Day to all. This is RJ Andrea signing off for today. Stay tuned to Global Beats, GIAS Abu Dhabi radio station. See you again. Bye.
Thank you, Andrea, for that lovely, informative talk. I sure learned a few things there. From the air that we breathe to the food that we eat, We are dependent upon other people, upon animals, and even upon the microbes in our soil, and they are in turn dependent upon us. Let me call upon Aditi to tell us about the importance of a sustainable community. Over to you, Aditi.
Thank you, Thrisha, for having me on the show. Good evening, everyone. Hope everyone is having a great evening. I'm Aditi here with you, and you are listening to Global Beats GII's Abu Dhabi radio station. Today, I would be talking a little about sustainable community. Before we check out the importance of a sustainable community, let's first see what is meant by a sustainable community. Throughout the world, people want the same things: access to clean air and water, economic opportunities, a safe and healthy place to raise their kids, shelter, lifelong learning, a sense of community, and the ability to have a say in the decisions that affect their lives. A sustainable community takes into account and addresses multiple human needs, not just one at the exclusion of all others. It is a place where people of diverse backgrounds and perspectives feel welcome and safe, where every group has a seat at the decision-making table and where prosperity is shared. It takes a long-term perspective, focusing on anticipating and adapting to change in both the present and future. With 60% of the world's population set to live in cities by 2030, there is a growing need for sustainable community infrastructure to support a balanced working, living, and socializing environment. According to sociologist Ray Oldenburg, for a healthy existence, it is essential to have a balance of 3 important places in our life: the home, the workplace, and thirdly, an inclusively social place. However, rapidly shrinking urban environments are making it more and more difficult to access inclusively social spaces such as parks, community halls, multi-purpose centers, youth child facilities, libraries, performing arts centers, etc. Sustainable community infrastructure is vital for creating and maintaining strong communities. They act as a catalyst for expanding social and economic opportunities, which in turn uplift the quality of life. It gives its residents a sense of belonging, the opportunity to take part in collective activities, and the prospect of building social networks. Senior citizens, children, and people with disabilities are especially benefited, as neighborhood for them is a main point of reference. They also foster a pro-environment culture where collective action and peer pressure facilitates behavior change. For such inclusive social places to exist and thrive in a community, the right infrastructure first needs to be present. Only if there is a neighborhood park can children come and play together. Similarly, only if the community has access to a multi-purpose center can they assemble for social, educational, or recreational purposes. Community infrastructures then, by providing public spaces that house the networks, facilities, and public programs, act as a foundation upon which strong neighborhoods can flourish and grow. For instance, the city of Medellin, Colombia's second largest city. It had an infamous past of being tagged as the most violent city in Latin America and the world, with a murder rate of 381 per 1 lakh people in 1991. However, the homicide rate has since fallen more than 80% to a rate of 20 per 1 lakh in 2015. This dramatic change of what is now being considered as a model city has been attributed in part to the large-scale investment in sustainable community infrastructure. The establishment of schools, libraries, green spaces, and culture and knowledge centers has directly contributed to reducing both crime and unemployment. Urban communities currently being challenged by population growth, urban sprawl, pollution, inequality, and socio-spatial polarization will benefit greatly from strong community infrastructure. Communities need to be sustainable for the simple reason that everyone deserves access to the means for a decent quality of life. Good food, healthy environment, a job, and safe place to live, irrespective of origin, race, color, class, region, or location. A sustainable community manages its human, natural, and financial capital to meet current needs while ensuring that adequate resources are available for future generations. Well, that's all for today from me. Hope I could successfully share my thoughts on the topic. Keep listening to Global Beats. And this is your Aditi signing off.
Thank you, Aditi. That was indeed educational. Next, we have Hira the storyteller coming in to entertain us. I'm all yours, Hira.
Good evening, everyone. This is Hira Thambi and you're listening to Global Beats, GII's Abu Dhabi radio station. Today, I'm going to be taking you through a story called A Blessing from Above. Once upon a time, there lived a mother kangaroo who had an empty pouch. Every night before she went to sleep, she prayed that someday her pouch would be filled with a baby to love and hold and care for. One day, Mamaru went for a walk. Along the way, she saw a pair of butterflies fluttering about in a field of flowers. She later came upon a mother duck leading her ducklings to a pond. Next, she spied a mama and papa squirrel gathering acorns for their family. She looked forward to the day she could share such wonderful sights and activities with a baby of her own. Mamaru was getting tired. She decided to rest underneath the branches of a beautiful willow tree. When she looked up, she saw a bluebird nest stuffed full of baby bluebird eggs. One by one, the eggs began to hatch. The baby bluebirds stretched their wings and cried for food. The nest was getting very crowded. Just as the last and littlest bluebird cracked open his shell and stepped into this world, one of his brothers stretched his wings for the first time. Before the littlest one knew what was happening, he was bumped from the nest and falling down, down and down, straight into Mamaru's pouch. The baby bluebird peeked out from the pouch and gazed up at Mamaru. "Hello, Mommy," he chirped. The mother bluebird looked down and saw her littlest one. She knew her nest was not big enough for all her chicks. It made her happy to see her baby in such a warm place. "Hello, little one," said Mamaru. Then she hugged her blessings from above. "At last, my very own baby," she cried joyfully. "I will cherish you and love you forever." On their way back home, Mamaru and little one frolicked through the field of flowers. They stopped for a sip of water at the pond. They shared grass and berries with each other. They were so happy. Now every night before they fall asleep, Mamaru and little one thank God for all their blessings, but especially for each other. Thank you for listening to my story. See you next week. Bye-bye.
What a lovely story, Hira. Thank you so much for that marvelous narration. And with that, we have come to the last and most awaited segment of today's program, the Global Beats online contest. Here come the questions. The first question is, which country has the largest forest area in the world? I repeat, which country has the largest forest area in the world? Question number 2. Which animal has 3 hearts and 9 brains? I repeat, which animal has 3 hearts and 9 brains? Next one, question number 3. In which country did the biggest ever recorded earthquake occur? In which country did the biggest ever recorded earthquake occur? Next, question number 4. Which is the only species in which the male can give birth? That is, which is the only species in which the male animal can give birth to its offsprings? And finally, question number 5. What percentage of land area should remain covered by forest to maintain ecological balance? I repeat, what percentage of land area should remain covered by forest to maintain ecological balance? Come on, grab your phones, punch in your answers and send them to 050-543-2261. That's 050-543-2261. That brings us to the end of today's show. Oh, parting is such sweet sorrow, but we'll see you all again tomorrow with yet another amazing episode of Global Beats. This is RJ Thrisha signing off. Good night, Shubhratri, Shabba Khair, Laila Saida.
Global is the way I am. Global is the way to be. Global Indian International School.
Be your best at the world's most awarded school, Global Indian International School.